everybody, it's Debbie here and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. I'm so glad that you could stop by and join me today. And if you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, then consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you do that, YouTube will automatically put my channel in your feed so that you can see what I've got coming up next. And if you're a viewer who is coming back again, then thank you so much for supporting my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. So I am in the process right now of cutting up these cut apart pages. So they're from this English Rose Garden paper pad that I got at Michael's. I can't remember if it's last year's or the years before. I used quite a bit of this. I love this paper pad. I think I'd used about half of it, and then it had sat for a long time. In most of my paper pads, I think that you'll find, and this happens with a lot of people who craft and buy these big 12 by 12 inch paper pads. In most of my paper pads, I end up with a lot of these pages and those big pages. Let me see, I'll find one that I'm talking about. So the big pages like this that have a beautiful flower in the corner, or there's another cut apart. These pages that have things like this down the bottom. I've been concentrating the last few days on how to use these up. It just seems to me that when I get to the end of a paper pad, this is what I have left, because I've used most of the sheets like this to craft with. All kinds of these. This one's particularly pretty. But yeah, so all kinds of these types of things left in my paper pads, and they don't always necessarily go with the other paper pads, so you don't want to put them, you know, just in anything. And I often will send them as little bits and pieces of extras in a paper swap and things like that. But that's what they are. They're just little extras. So today I got this idea from Carol Tinson on YouTube, and I believe she got the idea from one of her viewers. So if you're curious to see how I am going to gift these, then make sure you stick around, because I think this idea is absolutely awesome. I really do. I've got tons of pieces now cut up from that paper pad, and I made this. I've made this really cool wallet style envelope. Oh, I got a couple circles that I stuck in there left over from this. So yeah, you can cut circles out too. If you've got paper punches, punch out all different shapes, like anything from 2 inches up to 3.5 inches will fit. So I'm going to show you how I made that envelope. I even put a little pocket on the back, because I was thinking if you're going to gift this, this would be the perfect place to make a little card out of a matching paper, write your letter on, and put it in here. So I'm thinking that this is a great swap idea. And this is how I made it. So I have all my measurements right here. So I'm going to clean this off and start from scratch so that I can show you what I did. Like, you could even cut these strips down and put them in there. I can use this paper pad up by doing this craft. And I think it's a really great idea. So the original idea came from, like I said, Carol Tinson. Go on over to her channel if you love paper crafting and you're not already a subscriber of hers. Show her some love and check out her channel, because if you like paper crafting, you're going to like that. So I popped through this once again and found some papers that I liked. Where did they go? So these 2 sheets right here I thought would be absolutely gorgeous for the outside of the envelope. And I think what I'm going to do is this will be my top flap that comes down like this. So that's going to be what shows. And then that way I have something that I can incorporate for this piece of paper. And a lot of them have this, just this really gorgeous along the bottom of a piece of paper. So this first cut is going to be 9 by 9 inches. So 9 and because I want this in it, make sure that's in your cut, by 9 inches, just like that. Now you could use a 2-sided paper for this as well, and if you do that, then you don't need this second cut. So the second cut is going to be out of your corresponding paper or your coordinating paper, or your what's the word? Yeah, your coordinating paper. And for me, that is going to be these butterflies, because I think they're gorgeous as well. And this cut is also going to be 9 inches this way. But it only needs to be 6 inches this way, because part of this is not going to show. So there's my 6-inch mark. There. So that goes with that, like that. Then you're going to cut. That's going to go with that. And then you're going to cut one from the butterflies that is 2.5 inches. And by your 9, so 2.5 inches, like that. And then you're going to cut one from the other piece. And this is your coordinating piece again. Yeah, your coordinating piece. So from your first piece, which is this polka dotted one now for me, and I am going to cut one. Isn't that crazy? Oh, I can't find where I put it. So I am going to cut one at, where's my 9-inch side? 9 inches by 3.5 inches. So you've got 2.5 inches and 3.5 inches in your coordinating papers. And this is not going to work. Yes, this is going to work. So this is 3.5 inches for me, but it actually has this piece on here. So this piece is not, the whole thing is not going to show. This isn't going to show. So if you don't have quite 3.5 inches, if you have 3 inches, you're still fine. Okay. But 9 by 3.5 inches. And this is how I'm going to put them together. So the first thing I'm going to do is take, because this is going to be my top flap to come down, I'm going to take it. Let me take my pieces of paper and set them all out of the way so that you're not confused. There. So I'm going to take this. This is going to be my top flap coming down. So I'm going to make sure that it's at the top. And I'm going to take this piece of paper. I'm going to put it on here. And I am going to glue this down. Now for this, you can use 2-sided tape if you want to. I prefer myself liquid glue for doing anything with pockets, because if you use tape inside pockets and you put something in, it's liable to stick to the tape. So I am going to take my Tombow glue. Actually, I'm going to use the other end of my Tombow glue because I like this spreader. So I am going to use my Tombow glue. I'm going to put a little bit I'm going to squeeze a little bit out onto my spreader, and then I am just going to go all the way around the edge like this, getting as close to that edge as you possibly can. This is why I love this Tombow glue. I love this spreader. Oh my goodness, it just makes life so much easier. I'm just going to take 2 little strips down the middle like that. There. Now, making sure that I have it the right way, I am going to, and now this one wants to be right side up if it has a pattern that direction matters, and this one does because the branches on the trees are going up. And because it's wet glue, I have a second to line this up. There. And I'm going to set that and let it dry for just a minute. I'm just going to hit it with my heat tool for a second. Okay, so I have this. Now, I am going to score, well, not that, I'm going to score. I have this. This is my top. It's upside down. It's right side up when you look at it, straight on like this. But you're going to take it and you're going to flip it upside down like this. This is going to be your top, and this side that only has the single paper on it is going to be your bottom. Now remember, you don't need to do this step if you're using double-sided paper. And if you're using double-sided paper, you just need 2 12 by 12 inch sheets, and you that are exactly the same if you want, and then you can just flip it over when you're doing your coordinating layers. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it sideways like that, and on the bottom here, I'm going to put that right on there, and on the bottom here I'm going to score this at 1.5 inches right here, like that. And then I'm going to score it at 5.25 inches, just like this. I think I did that wrong the first time. Then you're going to turn this and you're going to fold this like that. Now, this is going to buckle a teeny tiny bit on the inside, because this is 2 layers. This would be so much better with double-sided paper. I want to use this paper pad up. I really, really do. So like that. So that's the top flap, and it's going to go all the way down to the bottom. And then this is going to come up here like this, just like that. And your envelope is basically made. So I am going to round my top 2 corners before I go any further so that I don't forget. Just like that. And then I'm going to start putting my insides in. So see how pretty that is? That is actually going to be your front. Now, if you want a pocket on the back, this is a good time to put that in as well. So these extra bits are a good size to make the pocket. So I have some of this. This is my second, because all I've used for this one is this piece and a small strip. So I have lots of it left over. So that's my coordinating paper. I am going to go to the back, and I'm going to cut this at 2.5 inches. It's 2.5 inches already, but it's not. It doesn't run the right way. I could use that piece, but it doesn't run the right way. So 2.5 inches by 5 inches. I want this bush in it, so I'm going to put that there, like that. Just like that. I am going to round the bottom 2 corners of this one this time, just because I think it will look cute, or like that, a little more finished maybe. So I can put, this is up, so I can take this, like this. I'm going to take a bead of glue, and again, I'm using the pointy end of this when I do my pockets. So I'm going around this, just like this. There. And I am putting this pocket this way up on here. So just eyeball it, kind of make it so that your opening at the top has a little bit more room than maybe the bottom. It doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom. But yeah. There. That's just a little bit damp, not wet, but just a little bit damp. And I got a little bit of glue squeezing out there. Not much, just a tiny, tiny bit, but I have a little bit of glue sticking out there. So, and I'm going to take my bone folder now, and I am going to go around my creases again and just crisp those up a little bit. So there I have the basic for my envelope. Now I'm going to take this piece first. It's my 3.5 inch piece. I think I'm going to take this off. I want that down a little wee bit. So yeah, I think I only want this to be 3 inches. There. And I'm going to eyeball these. And I'm going to put that one in there like that. And then I am going to eyeball these until it kind of pleases me where these pockets are. But before I do that, I'm going to turn this down. I am going to turn this down, and I am going to turn this down. Then I'm going to line them all up. I'm going to do them so I can see them and make sure that they're all lined up. It's hard for you to see what I'm doing, but I'm just bringing them all down so that their edges here are the same, because I am going to take my 2-inch punch. I'm just going to eyeball the center here, and I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way through that. Just about 1/3 of the way through the circle here. And I'm going to punch all 3 of those together. Now that, I've never done it like that before, but I watched that video by Tinson, and that was how she did it to make these the same, which I thought was a really, really good idea. So I'm going to eyeball these. I know I want this one to be about here, so I'm going to put it on first. So remember, put the bottom on, the back one on first. So that's going to be down, yeah, about that far. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to, I don't have to put glue along the bottom. I just have to put glue along both ends. Like that. And then I'm going to lay this down on here like that. Now that's going to stay wet for just a second. So I can take my second one and do the same thing. I can put glue along here. and along here on both ends. I'm going to put this one on top of here like that. I'm going to flip this one up, but before I do, I'm going to put the glue along the ends. And this is going to create the third pocket. So I have this one. I'm going to tuck this one down as far as it'll go. I'm going to line this one up where I think it looks the best. And then I am going to put both those sides down. I'm just going to hold my hands on here for a minute until they are glued down. Now, I didn't put the thumb holes in. That's the thing about the wet glue. You got to hold on to it until it dries. But so I didn't put the thumb holes in the first one. If you do have the paper punch, you can punch the thumb holes in them. But it's not necessary. You can make it without them if you don't. So if you're a beginning paper crafter and you don't have all the punches and all the, you know, all the little doohickeys and all the bits and pieces and tools, this can be measured out, cut by hand. So you just need a pair of scissors. I recommend a paper trimmer if you're a paper crafter, a beginning paper crafter. Your first tool, buy yourself a paper cutter. There. So I've made my second one, and look how stinking cute that is. There. And now this is ready to be stuffed. Okay, I have my envelopes, and I have all of this paper from this paper pad. Now this is all made from what was left over from a paper pad that I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it next. So I have, this is a kind of a gardening theme, this whole, because it's called English Rose Garden, of course. So of course it's a gardening theme. So I have all of these little cut aparts here. I've got the seed packets, bunches and bunches of this size. And this is like a little journaling card this size on there. I like it because, yeah, you could take these all out and make little notes on the back of it. So I've cut all of these different tags, different sizes and shapes of tags. So a couple from each color. Let's see, these two, these ones, and yes, I have those. These are the little strips. Like, just these little border strips are fabulous for putting in something like this. And then I cut a couple of larger ones out of this in case somebody wants to make a nice big tag or something out of those. Now, the thing about this is by putting some larger pieces in and some smaller pieces in, a person could take, the recipient could take this and they could layer different items on here and you know, different bits and pieces and bobs, and they could layer it on here and they could make their own project just out of what's in here. And then there's these different sizes. So I put in some of this and some of this, so they could cut their own little circles or their own little shapes if they want to. And then I have a couple of these nice cut apart pieces from the larger one. So I'm going to stuff these, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take one of these lovely pieces and put it in here. And I'm going to take one and put it in here. Like that. I'm going to take this larger one and I'm just going to stick it down in there as well in that top pocket. So these larger pieces will fit. I cut these at 8 inches because this is a 9 inches, this envelope or this wallet, I guess you could call it, and they fit in there. So I'm going to take, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these pieces that are like this wide. I'm just going to toss one over there to go in that envelope and put one down in here. Like that. So there's some nice big bits of paper in that one. I'm going to do the same thing with these tags. So yeah, this has got this gorgeous rose on the inside. Isn't that pretty? And it's like you open this up and it's very vintage and very cute, and you open it up and there's gorgeous roses there. Oh yeah. So I'm going to take my tags and I'm going to put them in the second row, in the second pocket. And I'm kind of layering them back and forth so that they don't bulk all in the middle. I mean, you're going to have some bulk all in the middle, of course, but yeah. So, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm just taking that and putting it in here like this. And now I'm going to throw in some of these. So maybe half a dozen of these. So one, and I put a butterfly in that one, some butterflies in that one, a journaling type card in there. I'll put the bird in here and the butterfly in here. I'll take this pretty floral and that pretty floral, and I'm going to do some of the seed packets as well. Now remember, I've got enough to do another whole complete envelope in here. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to divide them. How many do I have? I think I have 6 in each one. So I'm going to take 3 and put them here. I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to put them on this side because they'll fit. And then I have some little bits. So I'm going to take a little scrap of that, a little scrap of that, a little scrap of that, a little scrap of this. And I'm just going to layer them right across the front. And that has enough in there. You could do a couple tag projects. You could use this for a larger project. You could make 2 or 3. You could make 3 smaller, or you could make a bunch of smaller little ones in here. There's enough here to do ATC cards, some coins, some, what have you. And I still think this will all fit in here and mail for about $1.80. I think I have $1.80 stamps, a bunch of them, and I could put one of those on here, and I know that would go through. And so the same thing with this. I am going to take my papers, these bigger ones, and put them in the back, and I'm going to do the same thing with this second envelope that I did with the first one. And I think that if somebody got this as a rack or a swap or anything like that, because this is all coordinating papers and all these cut aparts are in here, like I would love to get an envelope like this from a swap partner that I could open up, and I'd have all of these bits in here, enough to do a project with coordinating papers. So that's it. That was my take on Carol's wallet style envelope. And yeah, so I'm going to link her channel, and I'm going to link that particular video. I'll link that particular video down below, and then you can find her channel that way. Make sure you check out her other videos. She does the most amazing paper crafting. She is like, I've been watching her channel and I've been learning a lot of stuff from her. I really, really like her. But yeah, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment, share the heck out of this, because I think that people will love this idea. And imagine all those parts of paper pads that we have. I mean, myself, I'm not a huge collector of paper pads, and I've got a dozen or more where I'm down to those big sheets and I'm not quite sure what to do with them, and I didn't want to ruin them. So yeah, you don't want to cut them apart because you're not sure what to do with them. And I think this is an absolutely wonderful idea. So don't forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And bye-bye for now, everybody. Have a wonderful day crafting, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.